Hi everyone, Daniel here, the creator of the relationship model of addiction. Today I want to take you into my office and show you some of the things I've been working on with people. This has been a week where I've been doing a lot of couples work and working with several couples that get into these dynamics that send them down the rabbit hole, that escalate, that become miserable, where they're arguing, fighting, no understanding, hostility and resentments are increasing, nothing's getting resolved, but they continue session after session, day after day like this. If they're not in my office, they're doing the same thing on their own. So my job is to give them opportunities to learn new ways of being and practices, mindful practices to implement when they find themselves in these dynamics. So, but before I tell you what some of these, I'm going to talk about three different exercises or processes or practices for you to implement, but they all follow from being mindful, being aware. So you need, before you can do any of these practices and implement them, the prerequisite is that you need to be aware that you're in it once again. You're in this dynamic that is taking you nowhere and is going to leave you feeling miserable. Oops, I'm in it again. And also, so you need that awareness. And also, I've been talking to you for the last couple of years about the stage 2 of recovery and developing a relationship with yourself. These exercises that these practices I'm going to tell you about really can only be implemented not only if you're aware of yourself, aware of what's happening in the moment, but you have a relationship with yourself. So you are ultimately taking care of yourself, you're taking responsibility for your own self-care, and you are bigger. Your relationship with yourself is bigger than your relationship with the other person or anyone else. Or all the people you have relationships with total. Your relationship with yourself is bigger than that. So that may be hard for you to kind of wrap your head around right now, but suffice it to say that these require you to have a relationship with yourself, a pretty strong relationship with yourself. Okay, first practice. Again, when you find yourself at it again, here we are again, going back and forth, polarized, escalating, bitter, no understanding, just missing each other, going around and around, and soon it's going to be just a matter of time where you just can't stand being in each other's presence and you want out. You just can't wait to get away from that person soon enough. So when you're aware of you're in it again, practice number 1. I call this unhooking, either stepping out and diffusing the situation, diffusing the dynamic, taking the emotional charge out of it. And so the way that you step out of that dynamic is once you are aware that, oops, you're in it again, you need that, then you have a choice. What am I going to do with this situation? You're going to step out. What that means is stop, pause, take a breath or few. Just stop. Just stop it. Just stop it. Just step out of it and buy some time. Count to 3, count to 5, count to 10. And get out of that dynamic. Ready to go back in at some point in a completely different place, with a different feeling, with a different conversation. Just something like, wait, I'm stopping this. This doesn't feel good. I'm going to take a break. I don't want to do this with you right now. And when you come back, you could say something like, well, that didn't feel good, or you could change the subject completely. Take a time out. Let's not do this now. Let's talk about something else. Let's see what we want to do tonight. But my point is that when you stop and you get out of that situation and you connect, you take that moment and you connect with yourself, it will occur, something will come up. You'll feel your way to a different response. Something, you want to come at it in a fresh new beginning with a completely different feeling, completely different contact, something new and different. Just change it completely. So you can do that. So I call that unhooking. Just stop, get out, hold it. I'm not going to do this. Wait, and then see how you want to redirect or how you want to pick it up again. If you want to pick it up, you may just want to say, let's just not talk for a while. We could just be together. Anything, but just you have the experience of getting out of that dynamic that was just sucking you down the rabbit hole. Okay, that's one. Unhooking, diffusing, stepping out. Second one, these three are kind of variations on the same theme, but it gives you different options. This second one is, again, about once you're aware that you're in a place that this is not going where you want it to go and you're in trouble again, you're just right back in it like you have been for all these years, you can stop, pause, and kind of check in with yourself and what you're aware of. What are you aware of thinking? What are you aware of feeling? Where are you going to? Where are you reacting from? What is your reactions? And just kind of be able to step outside of your inner experience, your inner reactions, and be able to observe, witness, be aware of, identify what your experience is, so you can then come back into the conversation, de-escalate it in a completely different conversation, and speaking from the place of what are you aware of. I'm having a lot of thoughts of really feeling, well, I'm kind of feeling hopeless. I don't want to be doing this right now. This maybe feels humiliating. I'm aware of just wanting to get away from you, wishing I never met you, or just how angry I feel, things I want to do. I'm just so angry by the way you're speaking to me, but just be speaking. It's very, very important in this second practice to start your sentences with what I'm aware of feeling. So you're not locked into that same emotional charge and level of reactivity. You're much more rational, you're much more circumspect, you're much more neutral, and just reporting. This practice is just about reporting your experience as it is, without any fanfare, without any drama, without any vitriol. Just what are you aware of right now? And a lot of time, so this is a way you ground yourself and center yourself and find yourself. So once you are there, are able to be aware and be reporting your experience, I assure you that the level of reactivity and all those difficult feelings that you had, and that sense of hopelessness and powerlessness and being locked into this dynamic, you'll be free, you'll be released from that. You'll release yourself so you could come back to yourself and back into the conversation relating to your person who you're in a relationship with from a self-centered place where you're grounded and based in your own experience. That is so empowering, and it's so clear in terms of what your experience is. It's depolarizing. It's the opposite of when you establish what your experience is. You're no longer, you're right, the other person's wrong, or you're wrong, the other person's right. You get out of that polarized dynamic that kind of escalates you to the places you don't want to be and wish you could somehow escape from, or never were in the first place. So the third practice to do, these are meant for you to practice. I am telling you these things now. This is what I do with my clients. I have them practice in my office so that when they do that in my office, they have the experience. I always say therapy is what happens when you leave my office. So then if they could do it in my office, they could practice and do it when they're on their own, and they don't need me breathing down their necks or directing them. This is meant for you to practice these. So the third one is about, again, when you're aware of, back in it again, and you're going to stop, and you're going to pause, and you're going to breathe. You're going to check in with yourself. You know, what's going on with you? This third practice is about saying what you want and need. what you want and need. So, for example, I was working with a couple where the man was feeling really humiliated, and the way that his wife spoke to him, kind of accusing him of not wanting to be with her, of rejecting her, of just kind of reading him the riot act because of something he was doing in the moment that, you know, he wasn't attending to her. So what we were working on is, rather than withdrawing, which is what he tends to do when she speaks to him this way or says these words to him, or get angry and attack back, but rather go into his body and connect with what he wants and be able to come back and say, you know, something like what occurred here is that he, you know, I really need some space. I really need some support from you. Cut me some slack. I mean, give me the benefit of the doubt. I need some space and be given the benefit of the doubt so I can be spontaneous, do what I do without threat or fear of being attacked by you and being jumped on and accused, and with all the stuff that comes at me. I need some more space. I need some more space. And then when you're saying what you need and want, be staying connected to your partner and looking at your partner and them looking at you and getting, could you hear you hear where I'm coming from? Could you do that? Could you understand what I need? Just be able to talk about what you're needing or wanting, you know, from where you live, you know, what it means to you to have more space and what it looks like. So these kinds of things, all of a sudden, when he was talking from a place of what he was wanting and needing, he was out of the dynamic, and she was able to hear much better what his experience was, and feel some compassion for him, and also look at herself to see how she was responding in contrast to what he was asking for and what he was needing. And it was kind of a reality check for her, and giving her enough information for her to not only adjust herself, change her tone or change her words, but want to adjust herself, because then the connection is going to be much better. They're going to feel closer, and that's why what they've been wanting, that's what she and him have been wanting all the time, but haven't been able to get to that place of connection and understanding, because they were so locked into their dynamics and they were not stepping out. They were not doing these things. They were just on automatic. So again, these are 3 practices. The purpose here is for you to take these practices, use them and implement them, and see what changes occur, see what difference it makes for you when you do these practices. Okay? So these are 3 practices for you to get out of dynamics that are driving your relationship into the ground. Okay, so until next time, the quality of your relationships is the quality of your life.